I don't know why it didn't rotate. What's up, family and friends? Welcome to the Woke Nation, our nation of factual truth, where we feel free to share knowledge and spread the knowledge of factual truth without fear, without favor, and without faint. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well and living your life as you're supposed to, because it's your life. Live it with the knowledge of factual truth, without fear or favor. It is your life. I want to share with us what I titled "In God's Presence" or "In the Presence of God." Still dealing about God. You know, some of them still wonder why you keep talking about the God you said it doesn't exist. Because you're still worshiping the God that doesn't exist. Until the last African stop worshiping God, I will not stop talking about it. Yes, people like me, we will never stop talking about it. You are free to get upset all you want, but you are being upset at all shows that God does not exist, because you are the one, getting upset for that God. You are the one speaking for that God. You are the one fighting for that God. So you are the living evidence, tangible evidence that God does not exist. If God exists, God will speak for himself. God will fight for himself. It's that simple. But to you, it's not, because you are a believer. You are deluded. You are mentally enslaved. So you have mental problem. You don't have ability to understand simple things. So even simple things is complicated or confusing to you. So I don't get you. What are you saying? Are you saying there is no God? That question alone is stupid. It shows you are stupid. Do I say there is no you? I say there is no God. Then you come talking for, are you God? You are not God. So why are you getting angry, saying somebody is talking against his creator? So God is my creator and I'm talking against God. So why are you fighting for my creator? He's my creator, so I can do whatever I want. He's my creator, yeah. And he's the one that sent me. So one night you know he in a joke about Wazo. That's why I'm about Wazo anyhow. And then what do you figure, man? Anyone or baggy. Whether me tomb or not, at least you will feel it. In the presence of God, our people, you see our people every week, they dress up saying they are going to worship God. Although they believe also when they pray in their house, God is there, they still say they are going somewhere to worship God. And you see them very serious. They go there, they say they are welcoming that God there, although they say God is there already. God is everywhere. But they go, they say they welcome him, they welcome his spirit in his son's name. Although they say they are worshiping one God, but that God is 3 in 1. But they say it's one God. And they condemn their ancestral worship, which they don't know anything about, saying their ancestors were worshiping multiple gods. No, your ancestors were worshiping their parents, their ancestors, not imaginary beings as you do in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. They were worshiping, they were honoring, they were respecting their ancestors, their dead parents. They knew them, not imaginary beings. No, they knew what they were worshiping. You don't know what you worship. According to John chapter 4, verse 22, you know not what you worship. Your ancestors, your African ancestors knew. They knew who, not what, who they were worshiping. Just as you are worshiping your living parents right now, when you have their pictures in your heart, in your mind, or their pictures in your house, okay, that's what you do. When you want to greet your parents, you see how you bow before them. You are worshiping them. You are not worshiping an imaginary being. But in Christianity and Islam, you don't see the God you're worshiping. You say you're worshiping. And you pretend you are in the presence of that God because you went somewhere, they say that place is holy, that place is sacred, having sacred book, having sacred nonsense, having pedophile priests and pedophile pastors, evil people as representing that God, and you see all those things happening. Come on. The things that happen in the place they said they call the presence of God is supposed to teach you there is no God. Look at what is happening in the presence of God. Where you see a reverend father fucking boys in their ass. That's having sex with them in their ass. Not even having sex with a woman in the vagina, but having sex in a raping boys, fucking them in the ass where they shit, not where they have period. You see those things happen, you still believe there is God there and that God can do anything or punish somebody like me. You are stupid. What is happening in the house of God or in the city of God or in the nation of God or in the temple of God or in the church of God or in the mosque of God or in the place of worship of God, what is happening in the presence of God should be enough to teach you that there is no God. You have been going to church. You know what is happening in your own church. You see people you call evil people in your church and they're sitting right there. Your priests, your pastors are promoting them because they are contributing, even not you. You know your parents used to be poor. Like some of you now that is living abroad, maybe sending money now. But you know how they used to treat your parents. They never even mention your parents in anything important because they are not rich. When they are doing their bazaar, you know who they especially invite. It's rich, not your poor parents. That's why when you make money in abroad, you say, I will wipe away poverty from my family. But you don't want to wipe away religion from your family. It's religion that made your family poor. Naturally, your family is not poor. But religion made your family poor. What is happening in the presence of God should be enough to teach you that there is no God. Some of them say that God is with you. God is with you when you are fornicating, when they tell you fornication is wrong. God is with you when you are sick. God is with you when you are diseased. God is with you when you are suffering. They tell you God is with you. How can God be with you and you are suffering? How can? It's like you saying you are in your house, well built, there is no leakage, and you said the rain is beating you. No, you must be delusional. And that's why religion is delusion. And the religious people are delusional. In the presence of God should teach you what is happening. Look at the churches where they are fighting. The elders are fighting. They are fighting for position. Pastors are fighting for position. Those things should teach you that there is no God. What is happening in the presence of God should teach you there is no God. You hear about a pastor stealing church money. You hear about a church taking a pastor who stole church money to court, like in Winners. Bishop Oyedeboda claimed God is there, and then God sent him to elevate poverty in Africa. Yet, somebody take money from God's money. They jail the person, they take the person to court. That's part of elevating poverty. People taking from church. If God really sent you as apostle of Africa to elevate poverty, to bring prosperity, then somebody took money in your church, you still sue the person to court. No, you didn't leave the person in the hand of God. Yet you see many people going there telling you God this, God that. And you want people like myself to keep quiet? What is happening in the presence of God should teach you there is no God. If there is God, those things will not be happening. You see the story they put in the Bible. They tell you about two young men that went to sacrifice and put on fake fire. They call it strange fire, foreign fire. God did not allow command that one. What happened? They said fire consumed them there. If those miracles, those power, signs and wonders of God they put in the Bible was real, nobody will be messing in the presence of God, because God will be there. God is not there. They tell you in the Bible where somebody went to help the ark of God that was shaking. Help, oh. Not that he was trying to peep in, not that he was trying to destroy. No, he was trying to help the ark of God, because the guy was sensible enough to see God is not helping matter. God is not stopping this thing from galloping. And it will fall. Of course, he know it will fall. It was not on human, it was an animal carrying this thing will fall. They say God kill him. And when I used to preach that place, I said because it were people that are supposed to carry it. They put it also there. He said God was annoyed because instead of people carrying it, God likes slaves. Instead of people carrying something, people now use their brain to put it on an animal to carry. God still kills somebody for that. Uzziah. What is happening in the presence of God today to teach you that all those nonsense they write in the Bible or in the Quran, in the Torah, about God doing anything that because people did something in his presence or in his name is all lies. You see pastors stealing in the name of God. You see pastors exploiting people in the name of God, killing people in the name of God. You see them walking around with bodyguard. Even they have bodyguard, with armed bodyguard in the church, in the presence of God. You still believe there is God there? You see people going to the presence of God and they get accident going there. And where is the presence of God? Show me where God's presence is. You see how COVID-19 came, government locked down the whole, everywhere. They locked down the whole country, the whole nation. Nobody were able to go to Mecca. Nobody were able to go to Israel. Nobody were able to go to Vatican. All the places you call Holy Land, where you go to see the presence of God or to experience the presence of God, they locked them down. Some of them, they were flogging people that say they must come. They must flog. They were flogging them. Say, get out. There's lockdown. Government is the real God. When government say you're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. What will your God do? Nothing. What is happening in the presence of God is enough proof to open your eyes. If you are not deep in that religion, if you have been in that religion but believe in the truth. Do you hear what I said? You have been in that religion but believe in the truth, seeking the truth, you will never last in that religion. When you see anyone that was so religious in Africa, that was so religious, but genuine or sincere in it in Africa, anytime they leave the shores of Africa, they leave religion. Because they will easily see, oh, this thing is not as I was taught. It will happen. I did not wait until I come to America before I made that decision. No, I left Anglican. I jumped Pentecostal. I was going Deeper Life, Christ Embassy, Winners, Church of God. I was going everywhere. I became evangelist also. When you do, I said, is it in the Bible? I was seeking for truth, reading all manner of Christian books. I stopped going to church like that in Nigeria, not in America. So when you see people that have been seeking the truth, you see children, their parents drag them to church, but they never accepted that nonsense going on there. Stop. When you see ushers in the house of God or in the presence of God, it's supposed to show you there's no God. If there is God there, you don't need usher. What is the work of the Holy Spirit? What is the work of the Spirit of God? You have human beings as usher, standing to say, oh, don't sleep, we are sleeping, wake up, or to collect your tithes and offering. Tithe and offering are supposed to be God himself collecting it from you if it's in the presence of God, if God is there. No, who passed the basket around? Human being, and you believe there is God there. What is happening in the presence of God should teach you there is no God. Look at what happened to Prophet TB Joshua. God could not save him in his church. God could not save him in his house. The guy died in his church or his house before they rushed into hospital where they pronounced him dead. He did not die in the hospital. They rushed there. They went late. He already died. Had he been, he had pulse. He was breathing. Doctors will save him. Science will save him. He went there dead. They only confirmed it there he's dead. And they waited for how many hours before they say TB Joshua is dead. They locked down the church. If there is God's presence in that church, why would they lock it down because TB Joshua is dead? Do you see who they worship there? When you go into that church, you are going to worship whoever is controlling that church. There is no God in charge of any church. Church is church of Satan. Islam is Islam of Satan. Christianity is Christianity of Satan. Judaism is Judaism of Satan. They are adversary to the truth, to the natural living. That is why we are having problem in this world. What is happening in the presence of God should teach you. You know how that pastor impregnated somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, in the same church. I remember one guy in Enugu State. I don't want to mention the name of that pastor. He's a well-known pastor in Enugu State. Young man, very handsome. A member of his ministry went for marriage counseling. Now, you know, normal marriage counseling within the week. The man never returned again with his the would-be wife, the woman he want to marry. The pastor married her. They wedded everything. And if you ask me, maybe that guy also attended the wedding and saying it is the will of God. Things that are happening in the house of God, in the presence of God, should teach you, my dear, there is no God. You don't wait for somebody to say, they said only the fool said there is no God. Then learn from that fool. But you are the real fool to believe there is God you cannot see. You are a stupid fool to believe there is God you cannot see. But you can worship that God, you can pray to that God, you can swear in the name of that God, and you say that you can't see that God. You are stupid. You say you are hearing the voice of God, but you cannot see God. You are stupid. A fool is better than you. Animals are better than you. Wake up. And somebody is telling you wake up because your parents taught you that nonsense. You want to die there? You don't want to die in the poverty your parents born you in, but you want to die in the religion they born you in. You are your own enemy. There's nobody remotely controlling you in your village. And those people you're accusing of controlling you remotely in your village, all of them are also members of your church, or they belong to one other church or the other. They are worshiping God. They believe in God. Even if the African religion is, they are also worshiping God. So where is God when people are doing all that and in his presence? Trust God and live humanly. Gordon.